Retirement might feel like it's a lifetime away, but here's the thing. Decisions you make with your money right now are worth far more than the ones you'll make later. Most people ignore saving for retirement until it's too late. But if you are in your 20s or 30s, you don't want to miss this video. Today, I'm comparing the top 4 main retirement accounts that can help you earn tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars later in life. The key is applying the right strategy from the start. So don't get frazzled, because I'm going to help make this easy, showing you where to start and a simple roadmap of how to adjust over time. So stick around as we compare 401ks and IRAs. Hey everyone, this is AJ, your ace in the hole, and welcome to the channel where we simplify personal finance and provide tips for young adults and others just starting out. So let's get this started at a high level with the top 2 retirement account options. First is the traditional IRA, or individual retirement account, first created in 1974, becoming available to anyone with earned income in 1981. Next, there's the traditional 401k, created originally in 1978 and finally established in 1981 as a workplace-sponsored retirement plan. Both accounts also have a Roth version, respectively known as the Roth IRA and the Roth 401k. Collectively, these make up the 4 different accounts we'll be discussing today. Now, there are some distinct differences between the traditional and Roth accounts, most of which revolve around tax treatment. Simply put, traditional accounts give you a tax break now, or pre-tax. Then, contributions and earnings are not taxed again until money's withdrawn in your retirement years, in which it's taxed as regular income. These accounts are typically referred to as tax-deferred accounts since taxes are delayed. Roth accounts, on the other hand, use money that's already taxed or post-tax. However, contributions, earnings, and withdrawals are never taxed. These accounts are typically referred to as tax-free accounts since taxes never apply again. Another very important difference between traditional and Roth accounts, still in the realm of tax treatment, is known as RMDs, or required minimum distributions. These are mandatory amounts that eventually must be withdrawn each year, whether you need it or not, triggering income tax payments. These begin at age 73, although new legislation moved this to age 75 starting in 2033. However, RMDs do not apply to Roth accounts. So that summarizes the basic differences between traditional and Roth accounts. Now let's check out the key differences between a 401k and an IRA. For starters, a 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement plan. These are offered by companies as a benefit for their employees, but not all companies offer a 401k. An IRA, on the other hand, is an individual retirement account that is available to anyone with earned income, such as someone that's self-employed, a young teen working a side hustle, or an employee whose company doesn't offer a 401k plan. Another distinguishing difference between the two is contribution limits. Yeah, there is a limit to how much you can contribute to these accounts in a given year. Assuming you're under age 50, the 2025 401k contribution limit is $23,500, while the IRA is limited to $7,000. Both are allowed catch-up contributions once you reach age 50, which are currently $7,500 for the 401k and $1,000 for the IRA. While contribution limits are a large distinction between the two, the most significant difference is the 401k company match. Offered by most companies that offer a 401k plan, this is where the company matches your 401k contributions, typically up to a percentage of your salary. The match amount may vary by company, but in any case, this is free money added to your 401k account and is yours to keep. This feature is what makes the 401k one of the most attractive retirement savings plans available. To give a quick perspective, let's assume you make $1,000 per week and contribute 3% to your 401k, and your employer offers a 3% match. This means that you contribute $30 per paycheck to your 401k and your employer chips in $30 as well, for a total of $60 per pay period going to your 401k. Annually, this would equate to a total of $3,120, of which $1,560 was 100% free money. Now, before I get too far down the rabbit hole, you can check out our video here for a more detailed look into 401ks, but I wanted to highlight this unique feature as it will come into play shortly when we discuss saving strategies. Now, you might be thinking, this is awesome. Simply save into a 401k and call it a day.
Not so fast! Not so fast!
Well, not so fast. There are a couple more items to discuss, but don't worry, because afterwards I'm going to lay out a couple of simple strategies that takes all of this into account. Now, back to the comparison. Another difference between a 401k and an IRA is income limits, not to be confused with the contribution limits mentioned earlier. Contribution limits determine how much you contribute, whereas income limits determine if you can contribute. 401ks, both traditional and Roth, have no income limits, meaning you can contribute to these accounts regardless of how much you make. However, IRAs do have income limitations. For a Roth IRA in 2025, an individual must not earn more than $150,000 to allow the maximum annual contribution, phasing out as you reach $165,000, in which you can no longer participate in a Roth IRA. However, income limits for a traditional IRA differ, not in terms of contribution limits, but instead applies to the tax deductions you receive. In 2025, an individual earning no more than $79,000 receives a full tax deduction on all contributions, phasing out as you reach $89,000, in which you no longer receive the tax break, but you can still contribute to the annual max. All of these have higher limits if you're married filing jointly with a spouse. Finally, in the case of all accounts mentioned, whether traditional or Roth, and whether a 401k or IRA, the IRS requires that no withdrawals be made until age 59 and a half, at least not without a significant penalty. One caveat is with the Roth IRA, in which you can withdraw your contributions, not the earnings, anytime tax and penalty free. The Roth 401k is somewhat similar, but is a little more complex and goes beyond the scope of this video. But let me know in the comments if you'd like to see this broken down further. Moving right along, here's a handy comparison table of everything we discussed so far, which you can pause and capture. Now, as promised, let's look at how to determine an optimal account strategy, which can vary depending on your personal situation. For example, if you're just starting your first job at a company that does not offer a 401k, you might take a completely different approach than someone who is a little older, at a much higher salary, and that has access to a 401k at their company. But if you're just starting out, you should stick to this fundamental rule of thumb, which is match, then Roth, then traditional. Now, let's illustrate. As a baseline, let's assume you're a single individual right out of college starting your first job. We'll start with a very common scenario, using a company that only offers a traditional 401k plan with a 3% match. In this case, you have a few options. So, which should you choose? As I mentioned earlier, in this situation, you should always start by matching the company match, in this case 3%, capturing that free money. Now, if you wish to save more, you would then continue saving into a Roth IRA and contribute until you reach that annual limit. Assuming you still want to save even more, you would then circle back to your traditional 401k and continue contributing there. Again, match, then Roth, then traditional. This maximizes savings potential, giving your lower taxable income base in conjunction with the many years ahead of the tax-free growth from the Roth. Now let's look at a different situation. Later in life, when your income has exceeded Roth IRA income limits, placing you just out of reach of Roth IRA contributions. In this situation, now you might first max out your traditional 401k, which reduces your taxable income. As an example, this could place you back within income limits, allowing you to continue filling your Roth IRA for the tax-free growth. You can see how switching gears based on your financial situation can help you circumnavigate the various tax treatments to your advantage. Here's a quick overview on how you might alter your strategy based on different life stages. Even as a teenager, you can contribute to a custodial Roth IRA, which would be opened by a parent prior to age 18. Now, at this age, you might not be able to reach the annual limit, but you can still contribute up to the amount you've earned for that year. During your early career stage, it's best to lean into the Roth tax-free options first, and definitely the 401k company match if you have the option. Then, during your mid-career stage, prioritize the traditional accounts for income tax breaks, still using the Roth option if possible, and even using a blended mix of accounts to optimize even further. Now, I do need to touch on one very important point. All of the accounts we discussed today allow you to invest your contributions in a variety of ways. Think of them just as a container for your money, but you will want to invest your money once you contribute so that it can grow exponentially over time. Otherwise, your money just sits earning very little, and well, that would be a real bummer. You can check out these videos here, which looks into the various investment options typically available within each of these accounts. So you can see that understanding the basics can help you plan ahead, taking advantage of the various benefits of each of these accounts. Simply put, load up Roth tax-free accounts earlier in life when you get the most out of the longer-term tax-free growth, and move to traditional tax-deferred accounts later in life when immediate tax deductions are far more helpful, lowering your taxable income when your income is much higher. As your situation changes, so should your strategy, shifting accordingly over time, maximizing your savings potential while saving boatloads in taxes along the way. The alternative? Do nothing and watch all your hard-earned savings just whittle away unnecessarily. So, you should now have a basic understanding of how you might use these accounts to your benefit, and I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please give it a like and also share it with anyone else you think might find it useful. If you enjoy this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe as we have many more videos ahead. Meanwhile, check out our previous videos here, and I hope to see you in the next one. This is AJ, your ace in the hole. See ya!